Welcome back to AFTV, guys. Welcome to full time. I've just come back from the Emirates. We're going to talk about this game. We're going to talk about Arsenal's 5-1 win against Everton. We're going to talk about all the drama across the final day because, let's face it, I think Arsenal fans are in a state of delighted, well, maybe not delighted, happy we won. Obviously still feeling the frustrations about what went on earlier in the week and in the North London derby. And there's other things around the league to talk about. So we'll try and go into a little bit of all that. We're going to talk about the goals. We're going to talk about Arsenal's performance. If you're coming to this stream expecting me and the guests who will join to do a post-mortem on the season, to keep moaning about Newcastle and Spurs where those went wrong, and go in on the wider picture at Arsenal, that's not going to happen today. It's called Full Time. It's a live show straight after the match. We're going to talk about the match. And after Newcastle, we spent a lot of time looking at the bigger picture. That's where it was lost. The North London derby was a big blow. The Newcastle games where we lost top four. Spurs got their job, did their job. They won 5-0. It's frustrating. It's painful. This isn't the show where we're going to talk about that. So if you want to talk about who played well in this game, you want to talk about the Arsenal performance, and of course there's that context of why do Arsenal always turn up when there's no pressure. That's absolutely true. I've seen Arsenal play some of their best performances of the season on the last day when it feels like top four is done. How many times have we struggled against sides like Burnley, going away to Burnley turf, more difficult place, and yet we win 3-1 on the final day when we can't secure Champions League football. So that's absolutely a context we're going to look at. But we're going to talk about the 5 goals. We're going to talk about Calvert-Lewin's performance, because is he potentially a striker we should be looking at? I thought he did quite well today. Obviously, he got himself an assist. We'll talk about the rest of the Premier League table as well and what's happened around the league, because some absolute scenes, the way City and Leeds have managed to get what they need to get done today. United on the brink of Conference League. They've managed to avoid it thanks to Brighton, who I think have had a really good season as well. So we're going to go into all that. Feel free to send in your comments. Feel free to send in your thoughts and get your, am I pointing in the right direction? I think so. The WhatsApp number's right there. Send in your videos as well on your thoughts on the game. So, let's go into it.
Hey, AFTV. It's Michael in the U.S. We're having a great time at the pub. But I just gotta say, Europa League is not the worst thing. We could be getting obliterated next year by Bayern Munich, and I'd rather rack up some wins against Antwerp while we build toward Champions League next year. This is a good season. Trust the process. Come on, you Gunners.
Hello, Thursday, my old friend. We're in Europa League again. Hello, big up AFTV, Roman in Mexico. Well, great performance today, of course, no pressure FC. We win 5-1, Odegaard looks great when there's nothing to play for. I'm crossing the street, hope to not get killed by Arsenal or by cars. Can you cancel a 3-year contract? Maybe sack Arteta. One can dream. I hope we sign some good players. Maybe Gabriel Jesus will forget we're in the Europa and come. He don't have much chance of playing at City now that Haaland is coming. And it's gonna be a long summer. Hopefully next year, top 4, but not with Arteta.
What's up, guys? Javi from the US here. Season's come to a close, and I can't help but say I'm disappointed. We were so close, and eventually, we just didn't do it. But I hope that when we look back on the season, we look at the entirety of it, from not having the players in time for the start of the season, to strikers not scoring sitters, to a disappointing January, to injuries, to selection mistakes from Arteta. We have to look at all of it, because at the end of the day, it's 38 games. Apart from that, though, we have a very, very big summer ahead of us, and I hope that the club not only gets the business done, but it gets it done early so that we can go into preseason with the squad that we need. And, just a lot of ups and downs this year. But you know what? There has been one constant, and that's been AFTV. It's the one thing about this club that, you can feel proud of. And, it's been an absolute pleasure taking part not only in the spaces, but here after the games. It's been immense. Being over here in the States is a very small footballing community, and even smaller Arsenal one. And so, it's so great to feel so close to the fan base, to feel so close to this club, and that's all because of the hard work that you guys do, and for that I'm very, very grateful. So thank you so much for all the hard work. Thank you so much for all the content. Thank you so much for involving us. I wish you guys the best summer, and I look forward to meeting some of you over here in Orlando. Much love and take care, guys.
Big thanks to all of you who send in, from Harvey to everyone who send in their videos. We started this full-time show as a kind of a bit of a rebranded show for after games, and I think we've had a lot of highs throughout the season, kind of doing this show and getting to hear Gooners around the world enjoying it. It didn't get us over the line. We didn't get over the line. Arsenal didn't get over the line with top four, but it is such a pleasure hearing what Arsenal fans around the world I have to say, hear what they're thinking. And I know there's a lot of disappointment. I'm sensing there's going to be in a lot of these videos, but we're not going to look at, as I said, we're not going to look at the wider season. We're going to talk about this game. We're going to talk about 5 very good goals, and we're gonna maybe start to look ahead at what the summer could look like a little bit. Super chat from Axie says, fourth should have been, but overall I'm more happy than I am sad. I hope I can speak for a lot of Gunners. We're a great team. The future is bright. Come on, you Gunners. So at the game, so I went today. A lot of us did. There's something about football and sport in summer, in May, in the sun, and I think with a lot of people feeling like the hammer blow and the top 4 ending, really happened. If not, it wasn't Spurs, but Newcastle pretty much all but confirmed it. I think a lot of fans went today with definitely the mentality I had, which is I'm just here to support my team and watch Arsenal because it's what I love doing. And Arsenal fans took their opportunities at the Emirates today to, sing stand up for the Arsenal and applaud Bukayo Saka when he came over to take his corners. And I think give thanks to the youngsters who really gave their all and had a lot of pressure on them, and other players who stepped up and maybe didn't have enough quality ultimately to get us over the line, but in tricky situations, had to step in and be players that, if I'm being brutally honest, they're not. So there was a good atmosphere around the Emirates, and Arsenal, I thought, for 90 minutes absolutely battered Everton. Of course, as I mentioned, the overarching context is the same. Every year, pressure's off. What happened when we got knocked out by Villarreal in the Europa League? We win 5 games in a row. That included, by the way, Brighton. Brighton at home, Palace away. Games that we couldn't get it done this season, but we did last season. So, of course, that context is always there. Of course, that's always in the back of your mind. And listen, for me personally, when the goals went in, I'm not climbing on top of people going crazy, but I really enjoyed Arsenal doing what I said on the Forever Arsenal podcast they needed to do, which was entertain the Arsenal fans, play football, do your job, win, just be very, very good, and do, people are still paying to come watch their team and support their team. And I thought Arsenal, listen, the damage was done earlier in the season, but they did their job today. I thought they were very good. In terms of starting 11, Cecil and I discussed the predicted 11 on the predicted 11 show. I thought Rob Holding would come back in. He did. I didn't think he would risk both White and Gabriel. Didn't make sense to. I know we're about to go into the summer, but you could see White wasn't really fully fit, and he got the full 90 at Newcastle. Holding came in, and listen, there wasn't too much for him to do. I thought Calvert-Lewin was a bit of a handful. Won some of his headers, looked just generally difficult to deal with for moments in the game, but I thought Gabriel and Holding stepped up to that. And I think the big difference, and this is where, in the same way we won this game in midfield, was how we lost it against Newcastle. In this game, El Neni, Xhaka, Odegaard just played very well. Listen, I will add some context to that. Everton were playing a back 3/back 5. The wing backs dropped very deep. Iwobi was basically a wing back all game. And when Calvert-Lewin gets he gets the assist, and I think it's Van der Beek who scored, and Everton pull it back to 2-1. They weren't running to the net to get the ball. They weren't over-celebrating. They weren't going crazy. In fact, the Everton fans were celebrating in their end for everything that was going against Liverpool in the title race. So there wasn't really a lot for both teams to get too excited about or too deflated about. But I think the celebration for their goal, Everton, tells me that they really did leave it all out there against Palace, and they were just here to turn up, do their job and move on. Anyway, I've touched on that Everton goal. We'll talk about, sort of break it down a little bit more a bit later. But I think I'm just sort of setting the tone here. Arsenal were very good and dominated midfield. I think that's why we won the game. But you got to look at Everton's application throughout. They weren't they weren't very good at all. I thought for the first 10, 20 minutes, they were quite sturdy at the back. Were they? I mean, Martinelli should have scored. But Arsenal were all over them. Arsenal were all over them, completely and utterly dominated, and were carving opportunities, even from not playing great football. The ball tended to just bobble into our area, and Martinelli would get a shot, or, we'd then have a second wave of attack. Everton weren't very good at all, and we can understand why. Listen, you imagine the pressure and stress that's been on them this season. That sense of, you cannot go down. I mean, imagine if Everton Football Club go down. And they got the job done, and, that was on Thursday night against Palace, and I think you could see that in their performance today. I read that super chat from Axie. Real Madrid also says no Champions League with Arteta and Kroenke at Arsenal, so he believes we need to move on from both the ownership and the manager. Oz says, James, nice to see you supporting the Kroenkes by buying the new kit so quickly. Great job filling their pockets. The Kroenkes deserve our support regardless of what they do for us. Shake my head, #Kroenke out. Yeah, I mean, it's unbelievable how, they're going to stay in for another 10 years because I bought a shirt. But I understand that some people don't want to support and buy the kits and buy the merch and all that. And I respect everyone's opinions, and everyone can do what they want about it. For what it's worth, I didn't buy any of the kits last season because I was frustrated and furious about the 8th place finish because I wasn't happy with the direction that the club went in. I'm not saying that suddenly it's all a lot better, but I like the shirt and I got it. So if that bothers you, I'm really sorry. Where else? Gary says, James, who cares about the performance? Of course we won well. There was no pressure to win. Pointless game. Yeah, agreed, Gary, but it's the full-time show, and it's full-time after the Arsenal-Everton game, and that is the performance in game that we're talking about. So, yeah, I don't, I don't know what more to say. I think I'm going to be in a battle with the comment section today. Listen, guys, I'm not here, saying this is a particularly great day for Arsenal. It's absolutely not, but they did their job, and that's the least I wanted them to do. We've got some more clips coming in. Let's play the clips, and we'll get some others in, and we'll get some conversation going.
AFTV, nothing to be excited about. We simply bottled it. The ball was so hot, we had to drop it, and when the pressure was off, we were able to score 5 goals. The story of Arsenal Football Club. Everything boils down to January transfer window, because as you lay your bed, so you lie on it. You have to move on and think about the way forward, because it is what it is. Big ups to AFTV for the quality content all through the season, and it's been an amazing season with you guys. See you next season, and come on, you Gunners.
Hey, big up AFTV. This is Nick from Florida. Overall in the season, I think given that we started, people were calling us a relegation team and we finished 5th. The fact that we had 4th in our grasp and we lost it, it's obviously a dampener on the season, but I think it casts the season more in a negative light than anything. Like, given the way we started, the fact that we were even challenging for top 4, it is pretty amazing. And considering the fact that we would have to go significant period, pretty much the whole end of the season without Thomas Partey, without Kieran Tierney, and we would be starting, and Kedia up top, and Tomiyasu would be in and out, and Rob Holding, we would have to rely on Rob Holding. I think it is amazing that we did that, and I think with better signings, I think progress will continue, and that, we will be able to make some noise next season. So come on, you Gunners.
Big up AFTV and all the Arsenal fans. First of all, I'd like to thank the Don and Robbie for creating this huge and amazing platform that keeps on entertaining not just Arsenal fans, but football fans from all around the world. I'd like to thank James for hosting this show in the most professional way and all the AFTV family. Klopp reached Champions League with Liverpool in his second season and Champions League final in his third season. Pep Guardiola was one of the best players of his generation, Barcelona captain decorated with trophies, but Arteta was the worst midfielder at Arsenal. Not exciting, so what the fuck so special about him? When he retired, I literally didn't give a shit because he was a shit player. And now, whenever a player wants to leave Arsenal, he will have a dispute with Arteta and leave for free. So, is it good for the Kroenke's business? And the most important question is Arteta better than Arsene Wenger? And is he considered as an improvement to Arsene Wenger? Don't start with the club culture and the unity between the fans and the club. The football on the pitch is not better. The signings are not better. The results are definitely not better. If we would have signed Bissouma or Guimaraes or Neves last summer instead of Lokonga and spent extra 30 millions, I'm sure we definitely would have finished in the top 4. So no, I don't trust the Kroenkes, Arteta or Edu's plans for this summer. I even can't believe that I'm still seeing Holding, Xhaka, Elneny and Nketiah starting for Arsenal after all these years all together. And you can't just ignore all the games that we lost from winning position this season. How I rate this season? I'll give it 5 out of 10 for reaching the 22 wins that I've been talking about since November. And enjoy your summer.
Welcome back, guys. I've got Lee.
Yes.
Big thanks to everyone who sent in their videos. Netweed with a comment says, James would never say Mancini in. He is busy just wanting to silence the negative comments. Why are our fans like this? Why? Man, I love that. I know people aren't going to be happy with me today, but I've made it very, very clear from the start. I'm not here to talk about the wider season. You know why? Because we did it after Newcastle on full time, and all of next week, from keep or sell videos to players we need to sign to supporters club, we're going to be having those conversations. We'll be having those conversations. But we said, and I was very much one who said, done. Top 4 after Newcastle, done. So I didn't go into today thinking, oh, but if Norwich do something or whatever. So for me, today was all about just watching Arsenal, the team I love, the team I support, the team I've loved and supported all my life, going and enjoying it. And they did that. By the way, Mancini's a great manager. I'd absolutely love him at Arsenal. What a job he's done with this. I'm half Italian, by the way, so some of you all know that. So I love Mancini. What football Italy played when they won the Euros. Obviously didn't make it to the World Cup. That's heartbreaking. So yeah, that's what we're here to talk about. But I know Lee's not a happy man today, and I respect that. And I'm not sitting here going, I'm delighted, what a day in the sun, and everything's amazing. I'm just saying the hurt was Monday. So for me, I went in with no expectation, which maybe is worse. I don't know. Talk to me, Lee.
I don't want to spend too long on it because I think we should give the respect to the players that played today and the game and dissect the game properly. I just think, and I said it in my fan cam, it's just a season of what could have been.
Mm-hmm.
We always kind of have these poignant times in football, in life, where if one thing changes, it can propel you into something else. And if you go back to the Emery season when we finished 5th,
yeah,
we didn't get Europa League. If we had finished 4th, we could have got more money. We could have got Fabinho. We could have got many different players instead of staying with the dross that we actually did end up staying with in the end. And I just think for me, it's just very disappointing because I believe the players are better than 5th, and it's just I feel like we just bottled it. Like we've bottled it, we've gone over it, and I don't want to sort of keep regurgitating over all of this stuff over and over again. It's just disappointing, and Arteta really needs to kind of learn from this because next season is going to be boiling point. He needs to kind of make real progress, not steady progress. I want real progress, or you're out the door, fella.
Yeah.
And I'm putting my boot in to get you out. I'm putting my boot in to get you out. I don't want to be on this Arteta in or Arteta out thing right now because he's got a 3-year contract. Even though in football contracts mean nothing, I don't want to keep going over that. I just want you to make the steady and correct changes by the players because we've come out, Josh Kroenke's come out today and said Arteta and Edu are the ones that are buying the players and we're just backing you. So if you two can't make the right decisions and you're getting rid of players that shouldn't be got rid of and you're buying the incorrect players, then we're going to have another issue.
Yeah. FE with Super Chat says, Arteta 2019 8th, Arteta 2020 8th, Arteta 2021 5th. Have Arsenal accepted mediocrity? How can Arsenal fans rationalise this? Officially mid-table. I think there's some really good points in that Super Chat. Absolutely. Especially when you look at the money that's been spent. But as I said, we're going to focus on this game. So let's go into it, because Martinelli scores the penalty. Now, I didn't see the handball. Obviously, where I was watching, it was like the far goal. There was calls for it, but not like Arsenal fans weren't running up to the ref. And then it felt like a minute later, they said, VAR review. It was quite funny. Arsenal fans were singing.
Throughout the game, though,
yeah,
we saw straight away that, so we did the watch along, we saw that a couple of players were kind of like asking for it, Martinelli especially, and I think, don't quote me, but I think Tavares also were really sort of asking for it.
You mean they're like kind of on it on the day?
Yeah,
and stuff? Yeah.
No, I'm talking about the penalty decision.
Oh,
the penalty decision.
Sorry,
they were
right.
really asking, because you said that you kind
sorry,
of
right,
alluded to.
yeah.
They were really asking for it, and then I think afterwards, you're right, because there was a long time, a lot of play still going on before the ball went out, and for a chance for us to see the penalty. The annoying thing is, which again I don't want to keep going over, the referee was looking directly. If you see it from the angle of the TV, he was looking directly at the incident, and I don't understand why he didn't even call for that.
So, you've seen it back. I haven't seen a replay. I saw a really bad one from a distance.
Yeah.
Was it a clear handball?
It was as clear as day. It was as clear as day, and it was the only minute thing which the referee maybe wouldn't have found, or maybe found more difficult, was this new rule where I think it's the arm sleeves
got to basically be under there.
Yeah, so he may have got a bit, but for him to not even call something at all. And maybe seem like he's missed it is just, again, terrible refereeing.
Yeah. Okay, so Marte steps up, good pen, scores. I thought he was really, really good today.
Yeah. He was the total opposite to Monday when he came on and sort of didn't get into the game much.
Yeah, hard for him in that situation, because Newcastle have been all over us. Yeah. And actually, when you look back, you think, weird he didn't even start that game, because really good against Leeds. I thought that our only dangerous player in the North London derby. Yeah. Then doesn't even play Newcastle, comes in brilliant again. Yeah.
I mean, look, like, it's horses for courses. Some games that certain players will be good on, we need maybe more intricate passing, someone like ESR, and sort of Odegaard. Some games we obviously need to stretch the defence and obviously create that space for those attackers and sort of third men running onto the crosses that are coming in. And hence why I would sometimes play ESR. But for me, yeah, like, he did really well today. Like, he was penetrative. He was really on the ball, on the goal, and driving forward, which was nice to see.
Yeah, absolutely. He was fantastic. He played with Tavares behind him,
which isn't the easiest, is it?
Right. So he was playing inside a lot, Martinelli, kind of those areas that Smith Rowe would pick up, because obviously when you got Tavares, you want to play to his strengths, and I say that word in inverted commas, quote marks, whatever it is. Anyway, Tavares, I gotta say, on a day like today where there's nothing riding on it and you win 5-1, I honestly can just enjoy his performance and kind of find it semi-hilarious. And the reason I say that is because he is so bad and so good in the same game. And I actually don't mean it lightly when I say so good. There are moments where he's like, he went to play the ball down the line, got it wrong, like shouldn't have lost the ball, lost it. Then it kind of comes back in field, and he's managed to shrug off two men, drop a shoulder, nick the ball forward, drive into space, and you're thinking, that was brilliant, that was class. And then fires it like a rugby 2-pointer, whatever it's called. I don't watch rugby.
I think the conversion, and
there you go.
I think that actually sums up Tavares. He can have moments of quality where he drives in that penetrating, going straight through the middle of attacking the middle of the defence, but then he just balloons a shot. His attacking play up to the final third is really good, but making that decisive decision for him is almost null and void. He's almost like he has a rush of blood. He sees red. He hasn't got the capability of taking his time, and in that moment, that's what makes you a top player. In that final moment, that final decision, what are you going to do? Are you going to cross it? Are you going to square it? Are you going to the type of pass, how hard or how soft, or shoot? And he just doesn't make the right decision ever, or he just doesn't do it correct.
Yeah, Real Madrid Arsenal says Arsenal reached Champions League with Shamak, Giroud, Skilacci, Santos, Frimpong. Think about this for a minute. Arteta is trash. Like, again, there is a wider point about there being worse teams that have made it into the Champions League. I thoroughly agree with that. But at no point was Shamak a first teamer for Arsenal. Giroud had a run. Skilacci wasn't. Santos wasn't. Frimpong wasn't. So you can say that. You can list a load of squad players that have been part of teams that have made Champions League football. But that's not... I get what you're saying. There's absolutely a point to what Real Madrid Arsenal's saying in that super chat. But that's not the examples. I would say the league is different now as well. But that is not... I'm answering the point he's made. It's not to rid Arteta of any responsibility, because he spent a lot of money for 2.5 years down the line to not get top four.
Look, like, going off what the super chat says from Real Madrid Arsenal, I think the poignant point, or the most important point of it all is football's changed now.
Yeah.
So yes, we cannot diminish what Squillaci and Santos and Frimpong and Giroud did, but football's changed. The levels you've seen for the second time that Man City have won the league by 1 point.
Yeah.
And they're setting goals that were never set before. So yes, these things did happen, and Wenger in his time, in his prime, was a genius. He was doing wonders, but clearly we have a manager who isn't at that level, partly, and we also just have to think football's changed, football's different, and we have to take all of that into consideration.
Yep. And I've got another super chat as well. Let's bring it up. Alan says, first season with new squad, youngest in the Prem, rid of Deadwood, summer is important, future looks bright, we competed with what we have, what more? Alan, I think there's some truth to what you say as well. I understand a lot of the frustration though, because the situation the squad is in, being the youngest and all that's by design. Arteta didn't accidentally inherit a really young squad, and he's having to work with that. He has decided to go down this route. He's been backed with a lot of money, and that's why... You know, I think there's truth on both sides, and next week you'll get the full post-mortem of this season. Absolutely, there'll be plenty coming out, and we'll look at where it really went right and went wrong. Guy and/or Dude says, with a super chat, says, Arteta is building something special, trust my G. Not everyone would agree with that, but some people really do. And listen, the Emirates didn't sound today like a crowd of people who weren't appreciative of what these youngsters have done. And I think that's where there's a difference. Is I've gone and watched Arsenal so many times, and I always clap at the end of games, but you ever been to the Emirates and after you go, these guys again, they've done the same mistakes again, they're not good enough, they're wearing that shirt again. And I think that's where this season is slightly...
Can I just ask you a question?
Yeah.
On what you just said? I know a lot of the fans were clapping and sort of really appreciative of the season and the efforts that they've done for the season.
Yeah.
I just want to ask, do you think that they were clapping because, unfortunately, their standards have been lowered without them even knowing? They're happy with some points of what has happened in this season, but we all know that it's not good enough. Now, there's a new age of fan base that are coming through on a day like today. Nice warm day, last day of the season, and we always have to put context into it, because a stadium fan is always different to an online fan. But I just feel, really and truly, should we have been as happy in the stadium? I know we have to celebrate a win, I know it, and maybe it's emotional and heated because we haven't got top four and we've lost top four to our bitter rivals, but I just don't want to get into a position where we are happy with what has happened today or even this season, because to me it just brings the whole mood down, it brings the standards down, and it doesn't feel like we should be celebrating. We shouldn't be celebrating.
Okay.
I know what's happened and we've made steady progress, but unfortunately, James, we've bottled it. We have bottled the top four, so I'm not sitting here thinking...
But we didn't bottle it today. We bottled it Monday
we did
or
it
last week
we
or
didn't.
the 3-game run.
Yeah, but just because we bottled it 3 games ago or 4 games ago, the lasting effect can be all the way till next season, because these players now need to prove that they are better than what they're showing in their position, because I believe they are. I believe they're better than 5th place, but it's just, are they showing it? No. So me giving them all the plaudits and sort of the credit, it's not happening for me.
Okay, couple of things there. I don't think fans that go to the stadium are necessarily feeling a difference to fans online or anything. I don't think it necessarily works like that. I do think when you're at the game, do you know what I was going to say? So I don't think that's actually true. What I was about to say. To answer your point about, I don't think anyone was celebrating. Okay, and firstly, I don't think anyone was celebrating. I think we come here, right? We're on AFTV. I feel privileged to be on this platform, to be able to give my opinions after every game, before, after, chat to fans around the world, chat to the fans who come on here. So it's quite literally my everyday is thinking about Arsenal, like the next game. Am I hopeful? Am I worried? What should we do? Should we do this better? Should we do that? Constantly scrutinising these players and Arteta all the time. A lot of fans who love the club just as much, who have been going for 25, 30 years, they just love their club. Yeah. They just want to go and watch Arsenal. They just want to go and watch Arsenal, be part of that community. I'm not saying they don't care about winning or losing. Of course they do. But I think sometimes if we'd lost it today, if what happened against Newcastle was today on the final day and it was all down all down the drain, but the job was done. It was done. And I think people just came today to look at youngsters like Smith Rowe, Martinelli, Saka. Interesting, Smith Rowe didn't get an appearance, but I think that's probably because of the departing players. And we'll talk about that. I just think fans are undoubtedly feeling disappointed. The fans I spoke to, not who come on AFTV, who weren't going to games, were also saying, we hope for something, but it's probably done, disappointing. But, and I think people just have lives and have a lot going on and wanted to come to their community and to the Arsenal and watch a game of football. I think sometimes it is as simple as that. And as I said, there is going to be a time to look, and that time literally starts tomorrow, by the way, to look at what we need to do this summer and look at the bigger picture. Absolutely. I just think with the damage having been done, I think you brush yourself off, you go again. I think that's how a lot of fans were feeling. But I don't speak for all. So it's up to them. We're going to go to some clips and then we'll talk about the other goals. We'll get Turkish in a bit as well. Let's hear what you guys around the world are saying.
AFTV, Arsenal 5, Everton 1. Big win for the Gunners today. But we need to do this in our games where we really need it. Where was this against Southampton? Where was this against Brighton? Where was this against Crystal Palace? Where was this against Newcastle? We need to play better when it really counts. But, enjoy the win. 5th place at the end of the year. Not where we expected to be, but not where we should be. If we really strengthen in the January transfer window, I think we get 4th, no problem. But next year for Arteta is a big one for him because he needs to add some real quality. Back to my point about how we need to add we need to be better in our games that we really need to be better. A part of that is experience. I know Project Youth, but we need some experience. We need some quality players because if we don't, Conte and Spurs will be miles ahead of us, and that's not where we want to be. But big win, come on you Gunners, and I'll see you guys next season.
What's going on AFTV? Dini here. I think my main point I'm going to focus on is mentality because people are going to be focusing on, obviously wasn't expecting at the beginning of the season. And it was in our hands. I'm just going to focus on mentality. And most of these kids that have been called kids for most of the season are going to be stepping into next season and they're going to be used for the majority of next season. Mentality. If I'm Martinelli, Saka, Smith Rowe, Eddie, Odegaard, and I'm being called a kid all season and this, that, and the other, and saying that I'm not big enough to do this and this, that, and the other, I am going into this summer now, after the season that's just happened, losing out to top 4 to Tottenham. I'm going into this summer, I'm doing push-ups, sit-ups and squats. So I'm stronger for the next season. So when these lot line up against us next season and they're ready to play, they know what's coming. Because it's all good relying on other people, like the owners, to bring in signings and this, that and the other. Of course, that's their job. It's Arteta's job to set out the team and this, that and the other as well. I get that. But when that whistle blows, the owner's not going to be on the pitch, neither is Arteta. It's about the man them on the pitch. And they have to just do it themselves now. There's going to be at the point where they got to do it themselves. Like, when are you going to take that leap? It was a brilliant performance today, but for what for? I know it's hard to rely on them because they are kids and they're learning at the same time. For most of these kids, this is the first time they were experiencing something like this. And they're probably experiencing this way ahead of their time because we've been in such a mess for almost 2 decades. We've been in a mess. For like 14 years or so, we've been in a mess. So it's tough. It is so tough, but it's now about recalibrating, recuperating, and getting ready and stronger for that next season. Because everyone's going to be looking at Arsenal for some reason next season. Everyone's always looking at Arsenal. So if you want the glory, you got to be able to take that pressure. Mentality. We go again next season.
Welcome back. Got Turkish. How you doing, man? Yeah, I know. You're not going to enjoy chatting to me. But let's go through some super chats really quickly. Gunnar Dan says 5th place is going to ruin the summer window. We need Jesus to fix us, not Gabriel. Actual Jesus Christ. Fair enough. Some more comments coming in. Chris was telling me to get some cough medicine. I know I've had this cough for about 2-3 weeks. So thank you for the advice. Quotes from Charles Watts on Twitter. Arteta on the futures of Eddie Nketiah, Lacazette and El Neni. He said, it's been decided, but it's very difficult to communicate it. What they deserve is to have what they had today. He's so cryptic, this man, isn't he? What's he telling us there? I thought there was something in maybe Xhaka getting subbed off.
Must be saying they're at.
Well, it sounds like it, doesn't it?
But just let them enjoy the moment kind of thing.
I think that's what it sounds. It sounds like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Like you said, I don't know why it's so cryptic at times.
Yeah.
Like, just say it for what it is.
Yeah, just say they're going.
It's not. These are not legends of the club.
Yeah.
Like.
But also just say like the futures have been decided. We'll announce it soon. This whole kind of they deserve what they had today. Listen, I thought there was something in some of the subs he made. I thought Xhaka coming off, I thought was that. I don't know why. I think he knew he'd get a decent ovation from the crowd. I think he knew that. I don't know. It would have been like, why not take off El Neni, for example? I don't know. I wonder whether there's something in that. Obviously, Lacazette.
I think we might sell him.
I think Xhaka could be off this summer.
I hope so.
Lacazette for Eddie. Obviously, that was thank you, Eddie. Lacazette comes on.
We ain't got any other strikers to sub on anyway.
Exactly. And then who else came off or on? I can't even remember who the last one. Pepe.
Yeah.
Again, maybe. You know what? This Smith Rowe deserve a run out, but obviously he was on the bench, and we're going to see a lot more of him. Everyone's telling me about the cough. I'm sorry about the cough. Okay, I'm trying to shake it off. Apologies. I've said earlier in the show that I'm not gonna. We've been planning content for next week. We got a whole post-mortem week of where it's gone wrong, what Arteta did right tactically, what he did wrong tactically, where we go from here, who we keep and sell. Everything. We've got a lot to do. Hell, I'm even arranging an interview around injuries and trying to understand where Arsenal at key points of the season keep stumbling at that hurdle, keeping players fit. So we're going to do all that. Today, the players did what I said to you on Forever Arsenal I wanted them to do, which is just turn up and entertain that crowd. Mm-hmm. Just turn up and just give that crowd something to cheer about and enjoy. And Arsenal did that today. I thought Everton clearly on the beach, you could see that from their celebration and their goal. I mean, they scored, and I've never seen a more muted celebration in my life. Yeah. But Arsenal did their job and some decent performances out there.
Yeah, there was. I mean, it was a good performance. We got goals, but it just more questions than answers, James. That's how I'm feeling right now. I know there's a lot of fans out there that seem to be happy with where we finished or the way the season's gone, but I just can't help but feel deflated. I just can't help but. I'm glad the season's over, but it's mad to say that when at times, it looked like we might make top four when none of us believed we would.
Yeah,
but I'm glad it's over now because ever since the international break, it's been draining.
Yeah, it has been
to
really
lose
draining.
to Palace, Brighton, Southampton,
and
then all of a sudden to come back against United, Chelsea, West Ham, and then to lose the way we did against Newcastle, it's left a sour taste in my mouth. Regardless of some high points across the season, I guess people will call them, the end has just left another sour. And you said it, I think, in the first 15 minutes of this show. Last year when we got knocked out by Villarreal, we went on and won the last 5 league games. it's kind of typical.
Does that not only prove the point more?
Yeah.
Because I use the example, do you remember Emery's season where we drew Brighton at home 1-1 and then we won at Burnley 3-1? When have we ever gone to Burnley and scored 3?
Yeah.
You know, there's something about Arsenal when it doesn't matter and the pressure's off, you see the best. Now, I saw today what I thought was the best of our football this season. Passing, moving, rotations, runners in behind, whatever. But I'm not sitting there going, that is Arteta ball. Because it's about doing it when the pressure's on. And for a lot of this second half of the season, with still Holding starting, with still Elneny starting, we didn't see enough of it.
Yeah. And even this whole, Arteta ball and finding our style of play this year, at points it looks like we did. But I think when you look at the overall season, it's still hard to really define what, in my opinion, he wants to do. People can say to me, it's obvious what he wants to do. To me, it's not. To me, we went into the season with Oba, his first choice striker. And then it turned to Lacazette, a very different striker for obvious reasons. Oba fell out with him. Cool, I get that. But it's like now people assume that's the type of striker he wants. Someone that can drop in, hold up, be a bit physical. But at the same time, he went in with Oba. So I'm no clearer on what Arteta really wants to do here. I think he's made do with what he has and what he can. And I think his comments about, the resources are the resources. And, I was allowed to do what I was allowed to do. And I was allowed to build what I've built and stuff like that kind of tell us. If you read between the lines, you can kind of understand what he's saying there. But I'm no clearer in this process sitting here with you now than I was at the end of the season last season. I'm no clearer.
Are you any clearer on certain players from this season, but also, some of their performances today? Martin Odegaard, really, really good. Are we in danger of saying that this is a guy who is phenomenal when the sun's out and it's that lovely game and everyone's playing at the same time, and actually when the floodlights are on and it's a Thursday night at Anfield and Sky Sports cameras are there, it's not quite the same. Listen, I'm not trying to accuse Odegaard of that. I'm just sort of showing you two ends of the spectrum. Any players that you're looking at and going, these guys, build around them?
I don't think it's you know what it is. I feel like we've got the surroundings for it. That's what we call the foundation, the base.
Yeah.
I feel like now it's you have to bring the players in. We're doing it the opposite way. Instead of bringing someone in that you build around, maybe a star player, quality, a world-class addition. I feel like what we've tried to do is build around nothing yet, see what we come out with, and then hopefully this summer attack those areas. So I think we need big signings. I mean, Odegaard, let's use him as an example. I think with Odegaard, it's not really... Yes, he's been inconsistent. 100% he's been inconsistent. But similar with Ozil, yes, towards the end of Ozil's career, I wasn't his biggest fan. But there was times I was saying this club hasn't adequately built around him. You can't just buy someone in, a particular type of player, and then not give him what they need to flourish. This is what you're asking about, building around the player. And I think Odegaard, as soon as Partey got injured this season, after the international break, his drop-off has been quite evident. I think his relationship with Partey grew and grew, especially in this calendar year. But can we rely on Partey? So it's just about getting experience in, quality in the right areas. That's what we have to do. And we've made it so much more difficult for ourselves without Champions League football. Yeah, absolutely. And that is going to have an impact on our summer. As I said, we will be looking a lot next week at what we can and need to do in the summer. Some of the goals. The second goal, Eddie Nketiah, nice kind of instinctive finish, I suppose, from the cross in the corner. It looks like he's off. I'm going to, at the risk of the wrath of the comment section, say that Eddie, since he's come into this team, he's done okay. Listen, he's not scored the goals we want him to do, but I don't think he's been the problem either. No, of course not.
And I hope for his sake, he gets a move and is just able to be a first teamer somewhere, whether it's up front, left or right wing, wherever he's going to play. Because it's just gone stale and it's time for him to move on. And I know the last couple of months might feel like a bit of a resurgence, but I think if there's the other thing we've learned is just because these players' contracts are running out, the easiest thing to do is get them signed on for another 3 years or whatever. Okay, we're not getting money in for them, but just go again. Yeah,
It is what it is. Arteta, Josh Kroenke, they've all come out recently. And I think there's a direct quote from Arteta about we've cleared the deck.
Sure, yeah, he did, yeah.
and I hope that includes these players too, because this is part of the deck that needed clearing. Now there's no excuses. You know, I'm frustrated enough as it is.
Yeah.
That I'm already saying no excuses for next season when I know I don't know, but I predict that next season we're not going to live up to expectations again. And by expectations, I mean the expectations of Arsenal Football Club, not the expectations of a young side, not the expectations of a young manager, not the expectations of a process. I'm talking about the expectations of Arsenal Football Club. When are these owners, when is this club going to move like a big club? Because we are a big club, but we've never moved like one. So that's what I want to see. But without Champions League football, excuse. So I'm already frustrated for next season, James. It's mad. I'm glad this season's over, but I already know that with some of the quotes Arteta's come, we haven't got unlimited resources. I was allowed to do what I was allowed to do. The Josh Kroenke article today. All these things lead me to believe we're not going to have the summer that we all hope and think and need, but we're going to have more of this PR stuff again.
Sure. Another player, who could well be on his way. It's not a contractual situation. I just think he's been here a while now. Is Cedric. Had him for basically the whole time Arteta's been here, so about 2.5 years. Really good goal today. Thought he had a good game generally. I thought if there's one thing that highlighted his performance for me, like what stands out when I think of Cedric's performance today, was if we had Calvert-Lewin in the box, and not even just him, but like a target man. The amount of times he did hit the area, and listen, I think he probably will move on, Cedric. But a good goal, and yeah, lovely finish.
Yeah, I'm not so sure Cedric will move on, if I'm honest. No, I think we'll still have him.
Do you think he has a part to play in this squad? I mean, not under Arteta, but
he's shown that listen, Cedric, at least this season, for large chunks when Tomiyasu's been out, he's shown consistently good performance. It's good. Yeah. And from a backup right back, and we're in Europa League, it's not an area that I heavily think we need to address. We do need a fullback, whether that's left or right, one that can tuck in. Because as soon as Tierney and Tomiyasu got injured, we didn't have a fullback that can tuck into a free. Hence the mess that was created off the back of that.
Yeah.
So get one fullback, whether it's left side or right side, that can tuck in, and then I'm all right with that.
Cool.
But I also think that with Europa League football next year, we're going to need a Cedric. You know, we're going to need these fringe players that have done all right this season. That's why I entertained giving Elneny another year, because, you know, as a fifth choice, I'm happy. But if he goes in as third, fourth choice, of course I'm not happy, because we'll end up like this again. Yeah.
I hear that. Fourth goal scored by Gabriel. I think he was a bit lucky. I can't remember if it was okay, fair enough. I think my big question around Gabriel is he one of your contenders for player of the season? I know, again, something we'll discuss next week, but I was happy for him. He got the goal. I think he's, you remember the start of the season, didn't he have that incident with someone breaking into his house? His partner's had a baby this year. And I think for someone who, I know he didn't speak English when he arrived, I'm not sure how good his English is now, we often look at him as the defender. In a back four, he's the defender, the guy we rely on. Against Newcastle, the only one I thought stepped up to the task and the pressure that we were facing, and then gets his goal. And he's been fit for most of the season, which is, I think, is a big thing. Scored some important goals, Wolves away and stuff. I just wonder where he ranks in your...
It's hard for me to say today, James, I'll be honest with you. Yeah. Because no one's ranking highly right now for me. But that's not fair either. It's just the mood I'm in. I love Arsenal. Yeah. And Arsenal, in my opinion, have failed this season. So I need a few days before I can really delve into that.
I love that you said that, right? You love Arsenal. And I know that everyone processes things differently. But can you understand why fans... And I'm a little bit like this. I wasn't sort of the whole hog. I wasn't singing before and during the... Well, a little bit. I was cheering the goals. And I'm not sort of waving my top and stuff in the stands. But can you understand that fans love Arsenal and just enjoy today for what it is? Newcastle was the killer. That's because that's my mindset. My thing is done on Monday. It was done on Monday. So today was just like, okay, cool. Well, 90 minutes of watching the red and white.
If you've got a club that are acting in the right manner and, off the pitch and on the pitch it's inconsistent, I understand it. But we haven't got a club that's being run right off the pitch. So in my opinion, sometimes this joy that you see, like for example today, Kroenke will look at that, and Arteta and Edu will look at that, and they'll think, you know what, they're happy, and if they are tricking us, they're gonna think it's working. Obviously, I can't say for sure they're tricking us. Like I couldn't say for sure Wenger was part of it. Like I couldn't say for sure Raul and whoever else has been part of the mess over the last 5-10 years. I just think that sometimes it can paint a picture to them that doesn't hold Arsenal's best interests at heart. It paints it like, you know, they seem happy, they seem content. Let's keep at it like this, because it doesn't take much to. And that's how it was a year ago. These owners tried to take us to the Super League, and it's embarrassing for us because, you know, how long we've been at the Champions League, and these owners tried to take us into a closed off Super League, and a year or so later, I'm meant to forget, and get fully behind. And I get fans get behind the team, the 11 players and whatnot. Yeah, I get that, because I'm not blaming quite a lot of these players out there, but there's a thin line between getting behind the players and getting behind the company.
But isn't that exactly what it's all about, Turkish? Isn't it? I'm going to wave my flag for Bukayo Saka and Gabriel Martinelli and Emil Smith-Rowe and the players who I look at who have, not all of them are hairlenders, but some of them are, and they have sort of done us proud, not in terms of they didn't hit the target, some of them. And yes, they drifted off, but did you ever look at any of those young players and think they're not giving their all? Or players that haven't been in this position before and think, nah, they're not giving their all? Like, isn't that what fans are off to do today? You know?
Yeah, I get that. Like I said, there's a thin line between it all.
Exactly.
There's a very thin line between it all. We just struggle with the balance now. We've gone from quite a toxic fan base, the atmosphere being quite toxic towards the end of Wenger, towards the end of Emery, you know.
Very empty Emirates Stadium.
And we've gone from that end of the spectrum to the other end of the spectrum, where it's, you know, all hands on deck, we get behind the side, win, lose, draw, 4th, 5th, 6th, everyone seems behind it, yeah? Again, there's no balance there, you know. We've been like this before. We've been fully supportive before. And that's where they really took the piss out of us, when we was at our most supportive, when we tried to understand that we're paying off a stadium, so we have to sell the big players. That's why a top 4 is a trophy, like Wenger said. Those times were reminiscent of these times as a fan base. It was very much united, you know. They'd feed us excuses, and we'd feed the excuses back to whoever, opposition fans, pundits, whatever. I just feel like it's getting to that stage again where they have us fans exactly where they want us again. And they don't need 100% of the fans. 80% will do. 75% will do. And I'm just weary of that. I'm very weary of that, because January is very telling. People can ignore it all they want.
Yeah, January was a killer.
And that's, you know, that's the club. Is it the first time we've had a killer window?
Yeah.
It's not the first time we've had a killer window. So it's all good and well people looking at last summer and saying we spent the most. Cool. But then you look at January and you know, we made the squad weaker, thinner. We came out of January, you know, worse off. I just don't get that.
Aaron with the super chat says, we need more experience in game time. Europa League is good for young lads and new signings. We can make it next season. Trust the process. We keep building. So Aaron's on board with what's going on. And yeah, this will be a very interesting summer. Let's round off. We talked about Odegaard. It was a really good goal.
Yeah, good finish. He needs to be shooting more next season, man.
I think he needs to be showing that drive in the final third a lot more often. If there's one criticism of his game, well, I've got two. He's very left-footed. That's a great left foot, but he's very left-footed. And I don't see enough of those feints, drop of the shoulders, getting shots on goal, causing havoc. You know, those moments that are just like the difference maker in the final third. I think he's often a facilitator in the final third, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
He can keep everything going and look after the ball, and he can combine nicely and create openings, but that threaded through ball that you just know the striker can't miss, or that goal like he scored today where he's opened his body up and you're thinking, shoot, drops the shoulder, goes again. Remind me, very Samir Nasri.
Yeah.
You know, that's what players like Nasri and Fabregas had. Haleb. They had final third moments, and I just want to see Odegaard add that to his game a little bit more. But yeah,
I agree. He needs to bring that next season. It's his first full season. Cool. As the season's gone on, he's taken more responsibility, as you can see with the captain's armband quite often this calendar year. So next season, he does seem like someone that look at himself and build upon his, weaknesses, deficiencies, and whatnot. So hopefully he does. But at the same time, I'm going to go back. I still don't really understand what the type of football we're trying to play, and I haven't seen enough good football from this club to really believe we're headed in the right direction.
Yeah, so on that, because you mentioned it twice, I think I know exactly what the club are trying to do. I just think we're a long way from really being good enough for it. And I think it's a style of football that it's all about passing and moving and openings and patience and control and all that. But control, you got to grasp it. And the minute the other team don't let you have it, like Newcastle, you got to be at a supreme level to be able to go into most games and control. And don't look at Man City; they can't do it against Liverpool.
And we're doing that with a young side, though. That's what I just don't get. If the aim of the game is control, patience, then a young side doesn't really fit that. A young side would more fit a Klopp style of football,
right?
From A to B as quick as you can. Go, move.
Electric, press, energy. Yeah.
If this is the football that you're saying, then someone needs to have the quality and experience coming in, because when you struggle to break down teams, which has been our biggest downfall, when teams stop us, how do we break it down? If teams, do 10 men behind the ball.
Yeah. That's a really good point. Shreth says, crap season. Conte came in and proved himself. Liverpool and Spurs bought quality when we couldn't find anything. Hate we will miss out on quality due to Europa. Well, this is an opportunity for Kroenke and Arteta to flex their muscles a little bit and bring... I don't think impressed is the word, but if they bring in Gabriel Jesus, after everything we've heard about him basically wanting Champions League football and wanting that next step beyond City, and we still bring him in, again, impressed isn't the word, but I would say, okay, all right, fair play. I mean, that shit feels like it's sailed for me.
And Jesus isn't even a guy like that. So
I personally think he is.
He's not like that, James. It's not like... Jesus doesn't come in and our attacking problems are sorted. He's not that type.
No, but I think we need 2 or 3 players. But yeah,
Jesus could come in and not score over 15 goals for the next 3 years, and we're talking about him like we talked about Lacazette last year.
Sure, I see your point.
But you're right. He can kick on. He's at that age now. He's got experience. He can kick on, maybe given more responsibility. But if that ship has sailed for Jesus, then God help us next season, because that type of player we should still be able to attract, and it wouldn't be for any other reason than money and maybe London.
Yeah. Tristan says, embarrassing that fans and some media accept this mediocrity. Need to set our standards higher. We are Arsenal, not Brighton. Yeah, Tristan, not happy there, and a lot of people aren't. As I said, for me, the damage, the hurt, that was the North London derby in Newcastle. I'm maybe it's just a me thing. When there's a problem or something goes wrong, I'm very quickly sleep it off, go again, make it better, fix it. So a lot of my pain, I don't know how to explain it. I feel it all in kind of one go, and then I'm like, right, how do we make this better? And that's why I went into today thinking I'm not looking at this as some reflection of the season. I'm just going to just watch football.
Yeah,
and try and enjoy it.
Not as easy for me, man. I'm just frustrated. So every time we fail, it brings back all the other failures. And I'm just like, hold on, how many years has this club wasted now? How many years,
Yeah.
So it's not. That's why I'm dejected right now.
Yeah, I understand. That.
We'll see this week. But the pain was after Newcastle. That's when it was over. Really and truly, after Tottenham, it was over. But those 2 results together, most of the pain went then.
Let's talk about the other drama around the league very quickly. Man City, oh my word. 2-0 down, 3 goals in 5 minutes. They sealed the title. Yeah, it was just. Obviously, I wasn't watching it. I guess you guys were getting updates as you were watching it. But their title winners, just very quickly, are deserving winners for you.
Yeah. Obviously, whoever wins the league deserves to win the league. Scary moments for them 2-0 down, but they showed character. Came back. Second time they've come back in a matter of days. Last week they had to do the
Yeah,
same
2-0
thing.
down against West Ham, and should have. I mean, that penalty.
Yeah. So they got over the line. No striker, second year in a row. What's that? 4 out of the last 5 seasons. They're dominating. Yeah, they're dominating.
Europa with Man United. Brighton did them a massive favour. They lost again against Palace. Listen, I know we're reeling off the Champions League stuff, but my question is, do you care whether it was Man United or West Ham in the Europa with us, or just whatever?
No, because I'm not looking at other clubs and looking for joy of other clubs' failures.
I don't mean joy. I mean for Arsenal next season. Was there any part of you thinking, well, you know, I don't know.
I'm not confident against either club.
Right, fine.
You know, we can beat both, and we've shown that in the past couple of seasons. But I'm not confident against either. You catch them on their day, and they can both cause problems.
And Leeds stay up.
Yeah,
Burnley down.
Yeah, I'm happy about that. I think obviously Leeds growing up. Leeds were part of the league. They had a good Champions League run too. A few players had come through their academy and whatnot. So Burnley, Sean Dyche gone. Yeah, it's their time now. They've had a good run.
Yeah. Well, that's that, guys. A full season of full-time show. Just a very quick one. A big thank you to everyone who has sent in their videos. We've been here for the Brentford game, opening game of the season. We've been here for Man City 5-0. We've been here for Palace, Brighton, Southampton. We were also here when we beat Chelsea 4-2 at Stamford Bridge, the Man United 3-1. That run sort of kind of autumn winter, but you know, the 5-0 against Norwich, the 4-0 against Leeds, putting together an unexpected bid for top 4, and one that now we look back on as failure, that we didn't get over the line. 4 points clear with 3 games to go. You hope this team will learn a lot from that. We've been saying that for a few years, but it doesn't end for us on AFTV. Lots of content to come next week. Tactical Insight tomorrow. And then everything that, we've been planning about, looking back at the season, where we go from here, moving forward, because that's the one beauty about football. There's always another game. Always, it never ends.
There's another season we can throw down the drain. There's always another season.
There's always more pain. But a big thank you to everyone who's tuned into the watch along, starting 11, the full-time show, all the content before and after. Join us for everything this summer as well. I'm sure some people were going to Orlando, yet to figure out exactly plans around that, but Arsenal do have that tour. Be amazing to meet all the Gooners out there. Another season to come very early on. We kick off in August, and transfer stuff. Robbie will be up at 6, 7 a.m. every morning to talk about. At least
all the nonsense links that we've got.
I heard he might get you to do half.
You'll see how long that runs for.
We're going to round off there, guys. Thank you to everyone around the world who sent in their videos. Genuinely, you guys make the show. We've got a lot of really cool features coming for the start of next season and this summer, so look out for that. Big thanks. Not the season we wanted. We go again.